Welcome back. Joining me is Phillip Colglazier, Executive Artistic Director from the Fort Wayne Civic Theatre. He's here to talk about what's coming up at the Civic Theatre. Good to have you back on the show, Phil.
Thank you.
You know, we're going to talk about the season coming up shortly.
Yep.
But we still have some exciting stuff to see at the Civic Theatre coming up this summer, starting with the Northeast Indiana Playwrights Festival, the third one.
Yes, the third annual Northeast Indiana Playwright Festival.
And tell us a little bit about that and what kind of plays you're going to be doing and other activities you'll be featuring.
Right. This is the last productions of our season, and it starts off with the feature play called Alive and Dead in Indiana, which the book was written by Michael Martone, who is the son of Patty and Tony Martone, which a lot of people from the community know them. And so he is a very famous author and college professor, and he wrote this book. And a college friend of mine from Ball State adapted it into a play. And so it will be the feature play of our Playwright Festival, and both of them will be here to do a workshop and be post-show discussions, as well as a panel discussion about the relationship of working with a playwright and an original author, and what kind of working dynamics take place in that kind of working relationship. It's not just writing a play. There's different dynamic in taking a book and adapting it to the stage.
I always wondered about that because the book has so much more descriptive language in it.
Correct.
And of course, plays are completely narrative. They're completely, not narrative, because they're completely dialogue.
Right, and depending
and how
also,
do you do that?
Right, and depending on the book, and I think a lot of books that are chosen to do that have more of a narrative voice.
I see.
And if that's the case, then it works well. And in selecting a piece, it may be shorter or longer. So there may be, how do you edit down and select that material and really focus on what the message is that you want to convey. And so it'll be interesting to see what Doug Long went through and looking at all the material of that book and how he picked and chose which of those short stories along the way.
And so that's really a great event for writers, aspiring writers to attend. And that's really one of the many things that you do at the Playwrights Festival. You don't just produce plays, you read plays, but you also talk about how it's done and you discuss plays and stuff like that.
It's really giving a voice for the playwrights in our community and throughout the whole state of Indiana. It's open for play submissions. We're taking play submissions now for the next year. But it's open to anyone that lives in a 90-mile radius of Northeast Indiana and throughout the entire state of Indiana, current or former residents. So if someone doesn't live here but did at one time, we will still accept their play submission.
So Alive and Dead in Indiana opens on June 1st, plays through June 10th. The other play by local playwright Ruth Tyndall Baker is called Althea's Well.
Althea's Well,
and
correct.
that also opens on June 1st.
Yeah, actually the next day, June 2nd.
June 2nd, okay.
We're alternating it on the stage with
down
one
at the
another.
library.
No, at the Arts United Center.
Okay.
Correct.
So you can see both of them, and it's really quite a wonderful atmosphere, that whole festival.
Yeah, and Ruth Tyndall Baker won this year first place prize. She won $750 plus her show will be fully produced.
Right. And
so hers is a dramatic story about Althea, who's fighting for her own identity and against her husband even at times. And it's a very dramatic piece, but homespun, but with lots of surprises that take place and how she works up the courage to speak and stand up for herself.
Right.
And
she's a good writer, too.
She really is. She has a very good narrative voice and sense of dramatic tension that takes place within this production. So it's a must-see.
Well, that starts on June 2nd, and Alive and Dead in Indiana, June 1st, at the Arts United Center. Let's talk about the upcoming season. We begin with Dream Girl.
Dream Girls.
And that's a big one.
That's right. And who doesn't know the movie that just was out a couple of years ago? And it's a powerful piece. When I first went to New York, in 82, 83, that was about the time when it came out. And everyone was listening to the soundtrack. The music is incredible.
Yeah.
And the storyline is powerful about the dreams, the three girls, as well as the brother that in the musical act that gets broken apart, reaching for fame and identity, and it's basically in some ways it's it mimics the life of the Supremes a little bit.
A little bit.
Without stating it.
And it's very inspiring. I love plays like that because they inspire you to dream and to do things that nobody would expect you to succeed at.
Yes, and it's an African-American play, and we're very proud to have Diana Shaw be our director for this production. The auditions will be in mid-May, coming up shortly.
Okay, and that opens on July 28th.
Correct, and runs for 3 weekends.
And runs for 3 weekends. We're here talking with Phillip Colglazier from the Fort Wayne Civic Theatre about the upcoming Civic Theatre season. And how does one subscribe and get tickets to the Civic?
Right, you can call or go online. As far as the membership, call us at our business office or our box office, and now's the time to take advantage of the early bird discount, which would end end of May. And this is the best time to get the best price.
And you save some money.
That's right. You save some money, but you also, as opposed to, you save versus buying single tickets. And so there's double savings in that regard.
And you get the same seats or similar seats, or how's that
There's
work?
a lot of flexibility. You can get a standard membership, which provides you 1 ticket to each of the 7 shows throughout the season, or you can get the Flex Pass, where you could use all 6 tickets for 1 show, or spread them throughout the whole season.
Right.
So you have a lot of flexibility in how you can do that.
Okay.
And then there's the business membership for business that would like to have their name in the program and promoted in that regard. It's 24 tickets, and that's basically a big Flex Pass of 24 tickets.
Sure, it's a great thing to take your company to for a particular celebration.
And holidays, too.
And in the holidays. Speaking of the holidays, well, first we're going to get to A Christmas Story, which you're going to be doing for your holiday show, but you have A Few Good Men coming up on September 8th at the Arts United Center. Classic play, classic movie.
It is.
And
it is written by Aaron Sorkin, and we just completed The Farnsworth Invention, which was a big success, and it was written by Aaron Sorkin as well, who wrote Social Network, and so his work is incredible. It's tight. It's the way it's written. It flows. It's very quick, and it's a very a popular title.
Sure.
With
we all remember the movie.
Jack Nicholson was in it.
I forgot what the big line is.
Demi Moore.
You can't handle the truth.
Tom Cruise. There you go.
Tom Cruise.
You can't handle the truth.
But I hope it has that line in there. But you also have A Christmas Story coming up on November 3rd.
And it's such an endearing piece, and we all know it from the movie. Gene Shepard, who is originally from Indiana, writes about his childhood in the 1940s and what it meant to live during that era and at Christmas time, and him wanting his BB gun, and it's all about the Red Ryder and him talking to Santa Claus. You may know the tale, and the father's leg lamp that ends up getting broken, and he swears in the movie and in the play, but it's always you never hear any swear words.
It's a great story.
So it's very funny.
It's very warm.
Yes, and so it's a great one for the whole family. Puts you in the Christmas spirit for corporate parties. Some of our corporations are leaning towards that.
Sure.
And in November
3rd.
And getting their Christmas gatherings done early so that their December is free, because a lot of people have a lot of time commitments during that period.
That's a great idea.
So.
You know, a show that I saw on Broadway that's coming to the Civic now is the Drowsy Chaperone, which opens on March 2nd. That's a fun musical.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I'll be directing that. Gary Lanier will be choreographing it. Delightful tale. It's about this one single gentleman that has an apartment in New York, and he relives, he's blue, he's got the blue. So he plays his record and this album of a musical theater, an old one. And all of a sudden, in his apartment, that musical comes to life.
It's amazing.
Walls come down,
set.
people come out of the bed, people come out of the refrigerator, and the whole story then comes to life right in front of you as he's narrating it and seeing it how he sees it in his eyes. And it's a very delightful piece. Great for all audiences, all kids, all ages.
You know, you also have Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. Ending the season, or coming up later in the season on May 10th.
That's right. It's the classic tale and the classic music of Julie Andrews and the old Leslie Ann Warren version as well. So it's the Cinderella story of hopes and dreams and the glass slipper. And
And you know, we only got a few seconds left, but you're also doing a very, very interesting play about Carole Lombard.
Yes.
From
it will
Fort
be
Wayne.
the featured play for the 4th annual Playwright. One-woman show about Carole Lombard. It's the hours before she leaves Indianapolis Hotel. She takes an early flight instead to go back to see Clark Gable, and that's right before her death.
Oh my gosh.
And so you learned of what was going on to her life at that time. She was in Indianapolis promoting the war bonds, and so she's there with her mother. And so you get to hear what was going on in her life at that time. And she's a lady that has a unique character and swore like a sailor. So
that's what I hear.
It's not for all audiences.
Well, that's May 31st. Philip, that's all the time we have. And I wish you the best next season. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. And good luck to you with your future, too.
Okay. Thank you, Philip. For more information about the Fort Wayne Civic Theatre and to buy tickets, visit fwcivic.org or call the box office at 424-5220. Arts Weekly airs every week, Tuesday through Thursday on College Access Television and most Sundays on WFWA PBS 39. And you can also catch us on YouTube and Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm Chuck O'Connor. Thanks for tuning in to Arts Weekly. Next week's show will mark our 100th episode. Be sure to tune in for a very special show.